And here we are recording. Excellent. So welcome to this session. My name is Daphne Grecki. I'm a customer success consultant here based in California, in Los Angeles. And what we're going to be doing in the next 45, 50 minutes is we're going to go through one of the recent updates in InCites, whereby you are able to analyze organization by analyzing them by department. So whether you want to be comparing multiple departments within your own institution, or whether you want to compare, say, the School of Medicine with the School of Medicine of another school, there's a functionality now that allows you to do that. And I wanted to present it to you, remind you it's there, and also let you know how we're going to continue to further develop that between now and the rest of the year. So without any further ado, I'm actually going to turn myself off camera because I know it has a way of disturbing the WebEx transmission. So I'm going to do that right now. Also, I will be chiming into the chat probably in the next 20 minutes after we tackle the topic. I'll show you what it looks like on InCites. I will be chiming into the chat. I don't see it as I'm presenting. So if I don't answer right away, I will get to it. I'm not ignoring you. So let's go and take a look at today's topic. So the first thing I want to do is, let me share here. I'm sharing my screen. And I did want to show you just a couple of slides that hopefully you are seeing. Okay, perfect. That is the slide I wanted to show you. So, so today's topic is departmental level data. Okay, why is this important and why it is new? So this is reflecting some of the changes that we brought into the Web of Science in August of 2023. So actually exactly a year ago. We went into the Web of Science and we created a affiliation departments where not only you get to see in a given body of work in Web of Science who are the institutions that publish those articles or those records, but you can also see the breakdown by department. So here, what we did actually at the beginning of this year was adding a module into InCites benchmarking and analytics, so that department level affiliation, which is applied, to 25 million Web of Science record, so that you can utilize it to measure, for example, citation output and impact by department, so that you can compare department within your institution, or benchmark them against, peer department. And it really is an enhancement that is designed to save you time. So it's based on this data, and so you're going to see, especially as I go live in the next couple of minutes, the improved view, into department affiliation, and then knowing that it's an ongoing process, to unify and match these. You'll see how there's going to be not only the ability to compare departmental data for an organization, but towards the end of the year there's also going to be a department report. So what that means is that at the moment you have to access it from Analyze and Departments, but towards the end of the year there's also going to be, when you go on report, there's also going to be an actual canned report that you'll be able to utilize, which is going to get you there faster. Couple of words, just before we get into it, why we decided to do this. Obviously it's important to be able to look at departmental data, given that the way that authors publish can be inconsistent. Sometimes they're not always they're putting the generic, institutional address, but they're not specifying which department they're in. So really, to be improving, the reliability of the data, we've gone in and we have, matched in Web of Science the affiliation address, to the affiliation department. This is, simply the author themselves, don't always list the department as part of the affiliation on every document. And also researchers move around, so you find that can also be bit difficult for us, when we're looking to compare departments, because if you have a person who just joined departments, their papers will go to the old affiliation department. So that's why, we had a need, to get you as close as we can, to rebuild department based on the data that we have. So that is, preview what you're about to see and when you can expect the actual canned report to be added, which is going to be at the end of the year. Another thing I was going to show you before we log on here was, so two things, I told you, that the data itself, is from the updates that we pushed out into the Web of Science. I told you that it was in August of last year. And this is, a bit more information about it. I'm going to drop it in the chat as well, given that it's in the release notes. So what is this department standardization? So those of you that, are actively using our bibliometric tool called, InCites Benchmarking and Analytics, you already know that anything that is that you analyze in InCites, benchmarking, and analytics comes from the Web of Science, right? The Web of Science data is the data source. So those changes and that aggregation by department had already happened in the Web of Science data to improve, search and discovery. So it was an expansion unification project that we had been working on. And so what I did was it provided and included departments for the author affiliations. So it's an algorithm, it's important to understand also how this is done. It's an algorithm that's gone and mapped department data that is indexed, in the author affiliation, and it has indexed it to to create a hierarchy of data where we are showing you the department name. So it's you get an example here, where you see author information, you see the addresses, and then this is the new department level indexing. You can see the affiliation here is Harvard, and then you see that in this particular case, here it tells you, what department level is indexed right here. This is helpful because you at least at the beginning of the release, that was giving you in excess of 8,500 parent organizations. So parent organization here would be Harvard University, which was then resolving to an additional 73,000 lower level organizations. We are continuing to expand this. We already have since last year. It really, really helps simply because very often this further categorization of the department is not even included in the article metadata. So this is some additional value add that Clarivate brings you into the Web of Science itself. And then because, once it's in the Web of Science, then it gets moved over and it reflects in other products, then you can benefit by that in InCites, benchmarking, and analytics too. If you're wondering, so can I search that in Web of Science? Can I search this department level? Yes, of course. The organization with department are already searchable in the affiliation field in a Web of Science. You can search it whether you're searching via a document search, so the fielded search, the basic search, or if you're using the advanced search, it has already been available. It's been there for a year. And not only that, you can then also go and use this affiliation department also in refine and analyze as well. So what you're going to have to select in both the filters as well as refine or analyze, you're going to be selecting is a field called affiliation with department. So let me show it to you so you're clear exactly on where that resides in the Web of Science, and then I'll show you how to utilize that in InCites and why that's valuable. Because it's very important to understand, within the source data first, how these changes were made, explain it to you, the algorithm that has created this further hierarchy where we're breaking down, the department level. But let's go and take a look at it in the Web of Science. So let me just see here. Let me go into Web of Science. Okay, so here I am in Web of Science. So if I type something such as, I can type, any example, that's going to bring some results. So I'm going to type here for the purpose of this search, cardiovascular disease. I'm going to click on search. I have my results. I'm in the core collection. And the field in question with affiliation and departments is shown in two places. So first in the filters that are right here. And if I keep scrolling, you get to see that you have two fields. You have one called affiliation, so you can see Harvard University, but then you also have affiliation with department. So that goes and breaks down even further the hierarchy of these affiliations. So if we were to see, go and look at them all, the filter is always going to be showing you the top 5. But when I go on CR, then here you get to see further affiliation. So this is sorted automatically by record count. But what I always like to do as well, for ease of reviewing, I like to switch to alphabetical order. So it's easier to see, the department here that are represented. So this was a first stage in aggregating this data, which, as I said, on the metadata itself, the one that we get from the publishers, is not always present because, authors, some authors are really good at, including the department that they're in, and some don't. So it's important to, it's really helpful that, the production team, has gone and started including this. This level of refining and analyzing by department is also available when you are analyzing the results. So if I go back to my results set right here, you can also click on Analyze Results. And if you select affiliation with department, so in the same fashion, you can actually display the departments right here. So this was a very brief, window introduction for me to let you know that this was applied in the source data, and remind you that you have this available in the Web of Science. And we discussed, how to utilize the department to filter the results and also to refine, to analyze by right here. Then of course, you have this and you can go and download the results. Now, how does that look in InCites? So we're going to go into InCites. We are on the landing page here. So what you want to be doing to view it is you're going to click on Analyze, and you're going to go and click on Departments. So we're going to do that together. And now that we are here in Departments, let me just go and clear some data because I'd already pre-typed something. I'm going to actually do it step by step, with you. So if we look at the last, complete the last 5 years, that is okay. Bear in mind that the departmental hierarchy and structure is only available, at the moment for academic institutions. So this is why this is preset. So you're not going to see that if you're looking at Coca-Cola or Nestle. We're not applying that to corporations. I don't know if we will in the future. At the moment, it's set to just academic institutions. So I'm going to click out of here. So what you need to do here, you're going to have to select, organization and department, and start typing the name of the school, whose departments you want to type. You have the ability to type up to 6 organization names, so 6 different organization names. At the moment, they could be organization that you want to compare. So it could be you and your peers, or it could be 6 completely, different organization that are nothing to do with you, but it could be maybe your aspiring peers or simply people that you want to look into. So I'm going to start by typing Harvard in here. And as I do, I'm going to select it. And then this shows up, View Departments. So this is not going to give me any analysis yet in InCites, but it's going to allow me to view the departments that are available within Harvard from that Web of Science, update, that we've had last year. So obviously, I'm not saying that it hasn't been updated since August 2023. I'm just saying that that functionality was introduced in August 2023. So as Web of Science data is updated daily with new publications and citations to them, and InCites is updated monthly. So at the end of every month, there is a data refresh, and it's refreshed with the previous month's updates. So that's how it works. So for Harvard University, you see that you have some twisted here, the ability here to click. So what this is doing is, so this is the overall Harvard. I'm clicking here to expand it to show you what's in here. And so what we are viewing is the different departments within that. So I get to see, for example, Harvard Art Museum, or even if we select, for example, the business school, you get to see that there is within the business school, there's also a further, more granular categorization that displays the business publishing corporation, the business school accounting and management unit. So there are, different levels. What I also wanted to tell you about different school that may be sharing a department, because that happens too as well. There is in the help pages, there is an explanation here as well that you can go and review that gives you a bit more information about how this is rendered, in InCites. So first off, we learned that the department, the ability to analyze by department in InCites, was added a few months ago, so in March this year. So the data update, began in Web of Science in August 2023, but this new functionality was added in March this year. And is, very useful, because then once, we select the department, then you can add all the metrics that you're familiar with in InCites. You can add your top 1%, you can add your category normalized citation impact. So you can just really have, all the indicators that you are used to using to benchmark against peers, or to perform institutional assessment. And you can really inform, your research programs, to be able to more specifically compare peers, but compare department and department. It reminds you here what I've just shared with you, and how much information also in Web of Science has that coverage that we're continuing to add. So here it's telling you as of March, there's about 5,200 parent organization that have departments with associated documents. So this is going to continue to grow. There's a link here that also tells you a bit more about the unification process, for a department. Actually, I'm just going to review it with you, because I think it's important before we look at what we can do. Oh, actually, sorry, it just takes you basically right here. I will put that into the chat at the end. What else, if you're wondering, okay, but this is something that, Clarivate does through an algorithm in the Web of Science. What if I want to submit corrections to the department? Because perhaps you're looking at this data and you notice that it's missing a school or a department, or you notice that something that you want to remove, which may have been, incorrectly linked into the Web of Science, or you simply want to change the name. This is something that I'm frequently hearing, where, you may have, I don't know, the Houston, Methodist Hospital that in the past, had a different naming convention, and you want to update that. You can request that through us. You submit feedback and a request through this mailbox. And once that is received, the team evaluates that, and they will then, add a specific unification. It tells you also what are the estimate for turning that around. So if you're unifying that for the first time, it tells you can take up to 10 business days. If you want to add a new department to an existing department, if you want to remove it, it just tells you exactly what can be done. So let's go and take a look at it. And I'm going to go back to where we were here with the department. So let's just go and say that I want to look at and compare, for example, the business school And I can see there are some questions with my org, so I'll get to my org in a second because the my org is the customized one, so when you want to, actually, no, let's just address it right now, so uh, what you're looking here and what you're about to preview here is us, showing you pre-built departments based on the data that we have in the Web of Science. For analysis of your own institutional data. So that is, for your own specific institutional data. My org gives you a higher degree of accuracy there because my org is created with the author match service, where we work with you and then we ask you periodically, usually once a quarter, we ask you to review the list of author and the publications by department to match it. And that is how, we load that data into the backend, and that creates your customized, my org module, which is an add-on, to InCites. But it specifically gives you the control. My org is, a much more refined process than this, because in my org, you get to control exactly how that department is built. You could say to us, okay, our authors are publishing papers that end up in a medical school, but we usually, have this author in that particular categorization of the department. So you are in control of what you want in the my org, and it reflects your organization precisely for the internal analysis that you need. So, but we wanted also to be able to have a simple, basic reflection of a pre-built department based on the publishing data that we get, where authors are entering this information, so that is available as well. So here the way that I would do it is, if I'm looking at Harvard, and I want to look at the business school, I want to look at brain science, I also want to, let's just actually look at everything that is science. So let's just look at the brain science initiative, and also we want to look at the medical school in general, right? I'm not drilling down, but I can. So just showing you here what features under the medical school. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay at a higher level medical school, and I'm also going to include the Stem Cell Institute and the School of Public Health. Okay, let's just refine it to this level first. I'm going to be updating my filter, and this is what it's doing now. So it's bringing in the choice that I had here, the 3 departments that I've chosen, and this is where you see who the parent organization is, and you can bring in all the indicators here that you want, that you usually already use. So if I am Harvard, I'll probably have my organization. But if I am not Harvard and I am, I don't know, UCLA, and I'm trying to look at Harvard specific departments to then maybe even compare them with mine, I can go and use the departmental breakdown to perform this exercise. Those customers, we have many, they subscribe to my org, you cannot compare your my org with someone else's my org, because, that is specific to them, but you can at least, leverage this data. So here, then I can bring in anything that I usually like to analyze by. So the category normalized citation impact, which contextualizes the time cited by field, by discipline. I usually also like to go and add things such as, for example, the top document in the percentage of document in the top 1%, in the top 10%, the documents in the at least in the Q1 or Q2 journals. These are Q1 and Q2 is the quartile of the JCR, right? So this is going to be the number of documents that each of these departments that publish in the top tier. This is the top 25%, and this is the second tier in the quartile. So in very high impact journals. And then I also usually like to also select the journal normalized citation impact, so contextualizing the level of the number of citation received, but relative to the journal for that year and document type. And then I think we're probably going to add 2 more things, such as the number of international collaborations and the number of industry collaborations as well. So let's leave it to that. just, just an example for the purpose of this demo. So now I can better look at Harvard departments, and I can see that although they are all three are in the scientific field, in stem cell, public health, and medical, I can learn here that in the last 5 years, it is the medical school that has the highest number of published documents in the Web of Science. Also, the highest number of citation, but across the board, I haven't selected any. Here you see I haven't selected any specific research area. Across the board, I'm seeing that, I'm seeing that whilst the medical school has the highest number of highly cited paper, when it comes to impact in each of the respective categories and field that these are published in, then I can see that it's actually the Cell Institute that has the highest impact in each of the respective field. Because this is obviously aggregating, right? It's 2.37 means that these 501 documents published by the Harvard Stem Cell Institute, they have received a total of 16,000 citations, right? These citations within the respective fields that these each were published in, has an aggregated impact that is twice, almost 2.5 times more impactful than other documents in the Web of Science published in the same year and in the same category. And if we wanted to see what category these were in, we could go and see them in the browser. If we click on them and we open them, we can see here is a research area. So that was the value across the board. Whereas if I click out of this and now I am more specific and I select a research area, and in a second, I'm going to get to the question. Remember, I'm not seeing them in the chat as they pop up, but I'm just going to go through this quickly and then just open up the chat and review them. So here, if I say I actually want to look at oncology and I select one, remember that you can select for Web of Science, you can select the Web of Science schema, or you can even select, if you want to be even more granular, the citation topics or any of the sustainable development goals as well. I'm going to stay with Web of Science because those are the 254 category. I'm going to select oncology and update the results. And so now I know that this category normalized citation impact is updated to reflect the impact within oncology. And then you would do what you would usually do here. You just go into visual and you go and, for example, select category normalized citation impact for the 3 schools. You're also going to select a graph. I think this one is a good one because this is showing the CNCI for the 3 schools as well, for the 3 division within Harvard. So likewise, what I did right now, in the same way that I did that, I could go and let me go back to the table very quickly, and I can go back into department, and then I can also say, for example, let's go and type Stanford University. Okay, view departments. This is how you add. So it's still going to show you Harvard because I didn't delete it. But if I scroll down, then it's going to also show you the Stanford departments. I could go and select, for example, something, okay, medicine. I want to keep it relevant for what I was looking at. I was looking at oncology. So health and safety, that really isn't the same. Let's go and look at, say, the lab. You can actually add additional keywords here. So if you want to do, for example, medical, just wanted to show you that too. That's going to also bring up the medical department, anything that matches medical in both Harvard and Stanford. So that helps me bring them up, as opposed to scrolling through the entire list. So I want to add, again, I'm doing this, just selecting a few, just to give you an idea of the possibilities here. So let's just go and do this one as well, medical. Let's just go and, okay, here. Okay, let's go and update the filter. When you get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. And so now that I have these, again, if you were to do a visual and a comparison, you could go and click, what makes the most sense for your comparison, like a bar graph, and then go and so I've selected that and then change the visualization. Why is this not changing my visualization? 1 second. Or for example, even a trended graph, if I want to go and see the trend, for some reason it's not letting me change the visual here. Okay, let's go and select them here, but I haven't selected anyway. Okay, let's just go and select them. So by the way, this brings me to address something else. When you're also working with department, the way that you're going to pin things to the top is going to work in the same way. So if I want to, for example, group, say Harvard and then together here, and I want to go and pin it to the top, I can do that. Okay. Okay, is it done it? Let me go and see. Go into the visual again. Okay, I think I have to, it's for some reason it hasn't logged me. This is always the beauty of doing something live now. It's not even showing me anything. I think I'm having some issues here. Let's try this again. I may have to clear my filters and try and do it because it's not doing what I'm asking it to do. Let's just try again, trying to pin this to the top. Okay, everything that's Harvard, pin to the top. Yeah, I think my system is not responding. Okay, why don't we take this a little break from this live and just go into the question, because as you saw, it gave me the option right there to pin it. The idea was that then you can go with pin items, so you can then go into the visual and work off of the pin that you have in there. So let me quickly stop sharing and go into the questions to see what you had here. So okay, so the first question was, how do the department from my organization compare to these? So I think that we addressed that, but I can spend, a couple more minutes, giving you a better explanation of the differences that you have in there. So let me quickly stop sharing and go into the questions to see what you had here. So, okay, so the first question was, how do the department from my organization compare to these? So I think that we addressed that, but I can spend, a couple more minutes, giving you a better explanation of the differences, between the my org and that. So let me share again, just to address the question, then I get to the next few questions. I want to get to all the questions. And if I don't have an answer specifically, then I'll be able to get back to you when I'm sharing the recording. So let me share the video again. Let me share my screen again. Share. Okay, so you should be able to see my my screen again. There we go. So the difference between, what we saw is that if I go into my organization, okay, it's just right there. Okay, see, it's not, I'm having, let me just go, I know what I can probably do. I can go and let me go into an incognito window to, and also bear in mind that this is going to be continue to be developed, this departmental level categorization. So if I go into the my org here, okay, see, now that I'm in incognito in this window, I can see it. So here I have a demo example, which is called Clarivate University, but this is how this would looks for you as well. So here, it's the way this has been structured is, you can see all the departments. You can also see, some sub-departments. So if we look at medicine here, or, a spoof university that could be called, Clarivate University. It's loading. You see already that there are 19 departments here within the Faculty of Medicine. You can see how many researchers and documents there are. But this really is, your data set where, you can control what is listed under each department, as well as what papers and author are associated with that department. So this allows you then to be able to run analysis periodically on this, so that this really, power charges your own institutional assessment. So this is taking your own institutional assessment and gives you the opportunity to run all the analysis that you can run by through InCites, to look at your authors, to look at impact, within your institution, to look at how, your open access policy is reflected in your own papers. It looks at, how you're publishing in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q2 journals, but by creating that data set and telling us, how you want these departments to be structured. This doesn't have to mirror what's in the Web of Science, when you have in the My.org. Because we appreciate that what you may define as, Department of Biochemistry may not be necessarily what someone else has, or what we see in Web of Sciences Department of Biochemistry. So that is the main difference. Whereas when we go back to, and let me go back into the other, if I go back into the other, there you go, into the other window that I had before, where we were looking at InCites. Go back to the regular InCites. Then you actually have the ability to compare different scores together, and you're not at the mercy of whatever the school specific authors have written in their paper in terms of their affiliation, but you're looking at the curated data from the Web of Science, where we've gone in and we've made this departmental association for you. So really, really helps, comparing departments. I did have a few here. Let me just try and see if I can actually just do, what if I did Harvard Medical School and then simply stand